That's with Reid. And Coulter goes for the jugular after Joy Reid accuses her of being a man. First thing that should be going through everybody's mind is, what the actual fuck? Remember 2008, 2012? We went through this already. We went through this whole thing with Michael Obama being a man. Alex Jones claims he has proof Michelle Obama is a man. Alex Jones, Chelsea Clinton spy after tranny Michelle Obama claim. The far-right conspiracy theorist. Alright, I'm gonna finish reading this article, but I'm gonna... Okay, so anyone who accused Michelle Obama of being a man was labeled a conspiracy theorist. Also, one other thing, legend has it you're not supposed to out trannies and gay people. You're supposed to give them the time they need to come out and be themselves. So accusing her of being a man and not giving her the time she needs to come out, even if it was true, I don't believe it is true because it's silly, but even if it was true, you would have to give her the time and space she needs to come out and be herself. So Joy, that was very intolerant of you and not very progressive of you. Responding to a newly uncovered blog post made by MSNBC host Joy Reid over a decade ago, which implied conservative commentator and author Ann Coulter was actually a man, Coulter struck back on Friday, implying Reid was astounded at her swan-like neck because liberal women have rolls of fat on their neck. Look at this picture. You telling me these aren't fat rolls on her neck? Telling you one thing, if you say no, I'm not buying that. Reid's comments about Coulter came from a brand new trove of Reid blog posts from her days in radio, and could threaten her employment status at the Progressive Network. Originally, the decade-old posts just included homophobic slurs against, among other people, then Florida Governor Charlie Crist. He's a Democrat congressman now, but he was a Republican at the time. Was that just another double standard I just read? Inciting homophobic slurs against a former Republican? Now, nothing, because he's a Democrat? I don't know. Reid had previously gone full Anthony Weiner and claimed some of these entries were hacked. However, yet more archived posts show Reid calling Coulter a man, requesting that Coulter and conservative commentator Laura Ingraham be sent to Iraq and put in a public square, and promoting a 9/11 conspiracy film that was endorsed in part, oh the irony, by InfoWars impresario Alex Jones. According to the Daily Caller, Reid's 2006 post titled "Dear Mr. Coulter" addressed the conservative pundit and her little brown shirt hurt. No one actually loves you, and particularly no one loves you enough to actually breed with you, provided they could figure out whether you would in fact be supplying the sperm and the egg, Reid wrote. First of all, okay, obviously you know what I'm going to do now, but Joy Reid, you are a
stupid nigger.
Okay, you must have been pretty stupid a decade ago, because haven't you ever heard of adoption? What the fuck? I mean, gay couples, they don't need... Okay, they do need it, technically. Yeah, they'll either adopt a child, or they'll either find someone to inseminate. If a man and another man want to fuck each other in the ass, and they want to have a child, adoption, or they will find a willing reciprocant to receive their sperm. If two women want to get together and, scissor, they can go to a sperm clinic and, get a sample, and then, I don't know how they do it because I've never been to one of those. I don't know if they just pour it in there I don't know, but those are a couple examples. I mean, look, you know, this is America in 2018, and there's tragedy all over this country. Trans people are hooking up, you know, trans people are hooking up. It's a thing. And you know what? There has been a recent study that says college students have been having more same-sex hookups than non-same-sex hookups, or what, you know, I call normal hookups. Actually, that's what she said is rather transphobic, homophobic, and sexist. I'm calling right now for I'm calling right now for Joy Reid to be fired. She also praised a blogger who suggested Coulter commit suicide and said that no sane man or woman would touch the pundit without a full course of penicillin and a hermetic body glove. And finally, here's a good idea. She concluded the post hyperlinking to another post titled, "Can we send Laura Ingraham and Coulter to Iraq, put them in a public square, and just leave them there?" Also, it's funny that you bring up Iraq, because I did a video a while ago about an Iraqi actor who was tortured and killed for looking too effeminate. Maybe Iraq hits home to where you believe and what you believe? Maybe. Well, as it turns out, Ingram also has a cable show on which Coulter could talk about the latest batch of Reid blog posts, and Coulter went for the jugular on Reid in more ways than one.
And then, of course, there was the always popular calling me a man for having a beautiful swan-like neck. Liberal women, as long as we're being frank here, aren't used to that because they have rolls of fat on their neck. They're really
Yikes.
Back by my beautiful swan-like neck.
Coulter also hit back at the hypocrisy of Reid calling others Islamophobic while suggesting they be dropped off in a public square in Iraq and leaving it, but not too much to the imagination what would happen there. I agree that I wouldn't want to go to a majority Muslim country, Coulter told Ingram. I don't know why liberals want to turn this country into those countries. However, Coulter doubted that Reid would face any consequences any more than other liberal darlings do. To be dumping that show because of crazy tweets she was sending, if they really cared about offensive tweets and so on, well, obviously Samantha Bee and Joy Reid wouldn't be on air. Indeed, Reid seems to be going the Samantha Bee route, issuing her sincerest apologies while nothing actually happens to her. Here's her statement to BuzzFeed. While I published my blog starting in 2005, I wrote thousands of posts in real time on the issues of the day. There are things I deeply regret and embarrassed by. Things I would have said differently and issues where my position has changed. Today, I'm sincerely apologizing again. I'm sorry for the collateral damage and pain this is causing individuals and communities caught in the crossfire. To be clear, I have the highest respect for Senator McCain as a public servant and patriot and wish him and his family the best. I've reached out to Meghan McCain and will continue to do so. She is a former on-air colleague, and I feel deeply for her and her family. I've also spoken openly about my evolution on many issues and know that I'm a better person today than I was over a decade ago. I am the daughter of immigrants and have worked to be a strong ally of these communities. There is no question in my mind that Al-Qaeda perpetrated the 9/11 attacks about Israel's right to its sovereignty. Did I read the wrong thing, or did I not even hear any apology to Ann Coulter or Laura Ingraham? No word on the hacking excuse or the FBI investigation she said was surrounding it. As fabled Nixon excuse weaver Ron Ziegler might have said, this is apparently the operative statement, the others are inoperative. Rest assured, however, that no matter whether she lied about being hacked or not, she's a better person today than I was over a decade ago, so she'd never do this again, or at least she would lie about it until she actually had to own it, at which time she would again say she was a better person today than I was over a decade ago. Wash, rinse, repeat. And then tune in on weekends at 10 a.m. for AM Joy only on MSNBC, where a panel of minor liberals will discuss Ann Coulter's Islamophobic remarks.